What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here, and today we are playing some more VGC battles for Scarlet and Violet. We are once again using this team built by Tio that we talked about yesterday using the hyper offensive core. If you haven't checked out that video, definitely check it out. I will obviously once again make sure to include the team report in the description as well as the paste itself. So I'm having some fun with this. Hopefully we can start getting some games on cart soon. So look forward to that. And also make sure to check me out on Twitch if you haven't. I've been live streaming my whole run of Pokemon Scarlet, and I'm really excited to start doing things like raids with people and just all sorts of that fun stuff once I finish the sort of last bit of the post game. So hopping right into things, let's see our first battle here. As I'm still, like I said, figuring out what works well and taking advantage of that. But this is really a hyper offensive team with multiple 2 Pokemon cores to do work. And so looking at my opponent's first team, right, it is going to be Guldango, I don't know how to say that, Gargnackle with Dondozo, a Tatsuguri, a Fluttermane, and Wochain. So a lot of similar stuff to us. I'm going to lead Qianpao with Dragonite, and then have Fluttermane and Chi-Yu in the background, in the back. So the thing that I'm really worried about right now is Dondozo with this Tatsuguri, because it can really just provide a ton of boost right off the bat. And so I'm feeling like we're probably going to see that from my opponent. We're going to actually see something different, but I don't think it's necessarily any better for us. So I'm going to go for a Sacred Sword here, as well as go for a boosted Extreme Speed into the Dondozo, just trying to get as much damage as possible right off the bat before it gets any sort of boost. And we will see the Extreme Speed doing about 60%, so some really strong damage right off the bat, as Body Press going to come down, bringing me right down to my Sash, but more importantly, not getting the KO, as we will lose our Qianpao, but more importantly, right, we now do get a free switch out into whatever we want. And so I'm going to bring out Fluttermane here, right? And I'm gonna go for a spread. Do I want to go for the Dazzling Gleam is the question. I'm gonna go for a Dazzling Gleam, and then I'm gonna go for another Extreme Speed onto the Dondozo. So what I was worried about, right, is it getting all of those boosts right off the bat, as Extreme Speed not gonna do too much here, but hoping. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm hoping that the Dazzling Gleam will be enough, as we will luckily get the knockout there. We can now go for another Dazzling Gleam as well as an Extreme Speed onto this Woqian, just trying to do as much damage as possible. Also, I'm not sure why my Dazzling Gleam has been missing. I'm assuming it's a held item that I'm not aware of, but I think that this puts us overall in a really good position, as we will fire off a really big Extreme Speed, followed by a Dazzling Gleam, which finally does get that knockout there. And so we are going to get Leech Seeded on the Dragonite. Not too big of a deal here, right? Especially because we can just go for a Dazzling Gleam here, switch out into the Chi-Yu, getting the special defense drop on both of these Pokemon. And then, right, we can pivot back into Dragonite as needed. So Chi-Yu going to come here, lowering the special defense of things, letting us fire off a really big Dazzling Gleam, which, perfect. I don't know if the crit actually mattered here, but either way, we are going to go for that. And then we're just going to go for a Psychic, because it is poison type, right? And no reason to risk the accuracy. So overall, we are going to be able to take that first game, and let's just keep rocking and rolling and move to the next one. Yeah, but definitely going to be a little bit shorter. I'll respond to that later. So now looking at my opponent's second team, right, we are going to see a Roaring Moon here with Great Tusk, an Armor Edge, a Rotom Wash, an Indeedee, and a Torkoal. So having access to some type of dark move, I think, is going to be really huge. Chi-Yu, right? I can do Fluttermane with Chi-Yu. I actually really like this as a combo because of access to Dark Pulse, so we're not even worried about something like an Indeedee. And then the question is, what do we want in the back? I think we're going to actually do Sandy Shocks with Indeedee, just with the idea that that gives us ground type coverage. And so we are going to see the Rotom Wash with the Roaring Moon here. And so my first thought is you are going to Terrastallize into a Steel type. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to Moonblast into Rotom. No, I'm going to Dazzling Gleam and Heat Wave. right? That way, if you change, it's going to change into a steel type, so or a fire type. So a really good call by my opponent, right? Getting the most out of this as they're going to go for a dragon dance, and now we're in a pretty tricky spot, right? We do have the advantage that we have at least gotten some good damage off, but I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to potentially sacrifice one of my Pokemon here, as we're going to see the swap into Indeedee, right? So Indeedee, I think, is going to be really pivotal for us being able to fire off some kind of support move, but it's not going to matter, right? As we will see the Earthquake going to come out here for that Roaring Moon, and we don't have a Focus Sash. So I'm going to go for a Protect here. I'm just going to go for a double Protect, hoping that they go for another Earthquake, KOing their own Indeedee, and then trying to set up that way, as we will see a Crunch come out. So even better for us. I'm going to Terastallize into an Ice type. I'm going to go for an Earth Power onto the Roaring Moon and go for a Follow Me here, hoping that by becoming an Ice type, we can survive the Earthquake. As we will see, indeed, it is going to be that Earthquake, and more importantly, it is going to get that knockout onto the Indeedee. So that's going to let us KO the Roaring Moon, which sets us up, right? It's going to be an Armor Edge, as we do still have access to a strong Earth Power in the back. And so we can just go right for that Earth Power into the Armor Edge, as well as go for a Follow Me. It is just a little bit scary, right, if they do survive, but we are faster, and we will be able to take out a quick knockout there. So once again, a really solid second game, and we're kind of pressing on, right? Really figuring out what the meta is like, figuring out how to combat it. Also, if anyone has any teams they want me to try out, let me know in the comments below. Happy to sort of try things out. And also, like, while you're here, make sure to subscribe, right? We are working our way towards 1 billion subscribers, and we really can't get there without you. So looking at my opponent's next team, it is going to be Slitherwing with Farafrig, a Talonflame, Torkoal, a Roaring Moon, and Scovillain. So there's a lot of fire here, so I need to figure out kind of the best way to deal with that. I kind of like Sandy Shocks with Indeedee. I think that that's going to be really strong here. And then figuring out what we want in the back. I do like... See, like, Dragonite I'm just worried about because of Farafrig. Yeah, Qianpao is just is a hard risk. I'm gonna do Fluttermane with Chiyu in the back. As we will indeed see the Farafrig with the Talonflame. So we do have the ability just to immediately start putting pressure here. Earth Power is 90. These are both 90. I'm gonna go for a Thunderbolt onto the Farafrig. And I'm gonna go for a Helping Hand. I want to get rid of the Farafrig more than I'm worried that sure they can set up a Tailwind, but it's not necessarily the end of the world. So I'm really hoping to get rid of that priority, right? Because that sort of is the scarier threat, and then we can go for a redirection the subsequent turn. As we will see, unfortunately, no redirection here, and we will see the Dazzling Gleam come out. That's fine. I'm going to go for a Protect here, and then I'm going to actually Psychic into the Talonflame with the idea that Farafrig will KO itself with, what's it called? With its Life Orb. And so we can protect our Sandy Shocks for one more term. They're quickly checking a little bit about our friend right here, but I think that this is our best bet, right? Going for the Protect, saying, hey, are you going to target me down? You are going to go for the Dazzling Gleam again. So that's totally fine, right? We do get the knockout there, as we will get the Psychic off, and we are going to see the eject button. So this tells me a potential Torkoal in the back. It is going to be that Volcarona, and it is going to get its attack boosted. So that's actually totally, I mean, it's not totally fine, but we can go for, that's the thing, right? I don't necessarily want a Terror Blast here. I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt onto the Slitherwing. And I'm going to go for Protect on Indeedee, right? I want to just try and stall out the Tailwind, especially, right, given the fact that we do have stuff that is faster than Talonflame in the back. And so having the ability to go for, what's it called? A Follow Me, the subsequent turn, I think is going to be really important, because that will really stall out this turn, as we're going to see a Rage Powder. The bulk up is scary for sure, but we do have ways of dealing with it. So I'm going to go for another Thunderbolt here, and I'm going to go for a follow me, I guess, right? Yeah, we can go for follow me. We do have ways of dealing with this in the back. Um, Leech Life is actually a little bit of a pain, and by a little bit, it's a really big pain. You are a bug type, right? Um, I'm gonna bring you out because you have access to what's it called? You can go for a heat wave. I'm gonna go just for a normal Terra Blast here, as well as a heat wave. That way, we can deal with the Scovillian. I think it might have chlorophyll, which is a little bit scary, but right, having access to a special fire type attack that has spread. So even if you want to go for a Rage Powder, we're not super worried about it. But I think it still is going to be a little bit scary for sure. But knowing that the Talonflame has had its speed lowered is really gonna work out for us. So we are gonna see it terastallizing into a fire type. So that's actually really bad for us, right? As they just are gonna get that boost. They are gonna leech life us. But more importantly, right, you are a fire type now. So we have a way of dealing with you that way. Right. So I'm going to go for an earth power here and then fire type. I'm gonna Shadow Ball the Scovillian, or the Scovillain. Um, yeah, we are faster, so that's actually a really big deal. The question though is, where are you going to launch your Scary Face? Um, Yeah, so we got to figure this out. I think that this might unfortunately end our winning streak as they just set up really well here. Shadow Ball will be able to get the knockout, and now the big question is, how much are we going to do with this Earth? Okay, never mind. We get the knockout that way, and then at this point, right, we can just go for a Thunderbolt onto that. And so interesting to know, I didn't actually know that this mechanic worked that way. I did not know that Photosynthesis wears off if the status goes away. I just assumed that it was a permanent buff. So I feel like that's actually really important information to know for a lot of things. But now looking at my opponent's team, we are gonna see a the Ghoul-Gedge thing, Amoonguss with a Roaring Moon, Iron Hands, Palafin, and Arcanine. So this really screams to me Fluttermane with Chi-Yu. And then the question is, what do we want in the back, right? I actually really like Sandy Shocks and Indeedee once again. I know that this was like listed as the like least useful of the combos, but I feel like it definitely has a lot of merit, especially in the games that we've been playing. So that's really cool to see. But I think, like I said, this is a solid sort of pairing right now because of the fact that it just offers so much. And so we are going to see it is going to indeed be that Arcanine with that Roaring Moon. I very much would like to go for a moon. Let's go for a Dazzling Gleam, right? Just trying to get some damage off. And then I'm going to go for a Psychic onto the Arcanine. Where is your oh, you have the boost. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go for I'm going to Moonblast here, expecting you to terastallize, and I'm going to go for a Psychic onto the Arcanine. We are going to see a Stomping Tantrum come out here, so that is a little bit scary, right? As we will at least luckily get the knockout with Moonblast, taking advantage of the fact that we are so fast, as they will now be able to bring out their Palafin here. I'm going to just go for a Moonblast here, and then I would like to switch out into Indeedee. Just trying to cycle in some boosts. I think Fluttermane is going to be really important here. So having the ability to change what move it uses and also keep its special attack kind of high is going to be important. So bringing out the Indeedee here, we're going to perfect see that priority come into us as the Snarl, right? Not even going to do that much. And it looks like, yeah, my opponent recognizing the position they're in. So overall, really solid. I think we're still keeping these kind of short just as a result of it being on Showdown. But we're gonna play one more and just see how that goes. And then we'll probably call it for here. And so for this final team, right, we're gonna see a Rotom with a Scizor, a Great Tusk next to a Chi-Yu with Murkrow and Arcanine. So a lot of different things to watch out for. I could run Chien-Pao with Dragonite, right? They don't have a way to stop that. So I'm gonna actually do that. I'm gonna do Qian Pao, Dragonite, and then Fluttermane with Chi-Yu in the back. I think it just really puts on a lot of pressure that is hard for my opponent to deal with. And so I'm going to go for Protect here and then Terrasilize and just Extreme Speed into the Rotom. I feel like this should do more than enough damage to kind of deal with it. And what I'm really hoping for is if we can... okay, so they are going to swap into Arcanine. This is still going to do quite a bit of damage. Oh yeah, we also have Inner Focus. So, you know, that's really helpful. As we're going to go for a Protect here. I'm hoping this Extreme Speed, it does unfortunately not get the knockout. I'm sure that they were trained for that, as they will just go straight for the Will-O-Wisp. I'm going to switch out into my Chi-Yu here and go for an Extreme Speed onto the Rotom, just trying to get a knockout this way. Getting rid of one of their Pokemon, I think, is important, as we will see the Scizor come out here. Arcanine may be going for a Flare Blitz into me, but it is, yeah, just going to be a Will-O-Wisp. So that's super huge for us, right? We can go for a Heat Wave here as well as Extreme Speed onto the Arcanine, just really trying to use that hyper offensive pressure to get as much chip as we can. And so that is really going to be huge for us, right? Saying, hey, I'm just not going to let anything sort of live. We will see a Rock type Scizor coming out. So that's a little bit scary here, as we will see the Terra Blast getting the knockout. So some solid damage there, as a Snarl going to come out here. And so now is the question of what do we want to do, right? How much, I'm going to bring out Qian Pao. And so I'm thinking, right, how much did Extreme Speed do? It did 29% to Arcanine. I'm going to go for a Protect here, and then I'm going to Extreme Speed the Arcanine again. And so my thought process here is this will keep Qian Pao around, even if you want to go for something like a Bullet Punch, which, yeah, we're going to see the Bullet Punch doesn't happen. You do go for the double up. That's perfect. Now we do have the ability to Sacred Sword onto the Scizor, as well as go for an Extreme Speed onto the Arcanine. There's not really much my opponent can do at this point, right? You'll bring me down to my Sash. We will, or you don't even bring me down to my Sash. So that's awesome, right? We do get the KO there, and then we will be able to just double up into this Rotom Wash, which is at such low HP. Oh, there's a Great Tusks. I totally forgot you had another Pokemon. So we're just going to do this. Great Tusk, right, is going to be fine to deal with because of the fact that we do have access to other stuff to deal with it. And so, yeah, you're going to get the knockout here. Sorry, I said HH. My bad. But yeah, we will be able to just go for the Moonblast here, as well as go for another Extreme Speed, and that will be able to take us. So overall, just some fun games. We're slowly working our way up the ladder, right? We are almost at 1,300, and I think we've been pretty much undefeated with this team since I started reading the guide on how to use it. So huge shout out to Tio for this team. Definitely make sure to check them out. Also, make sure to check me out on Twitch, right, where I am going to be streaming, trying to get as frequently as I can. So really hoping for some good content there. So look out for that. But that's all I got. And until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.